Hey guys, welcome to a new series of videos we're going to have here for training. Basically, we're going to go through the 1StopAutoShop.ca website. We're going to try and take it from start to finish so that you can always come back to look at this video if you don't understand anything. Basically, a job like this you should be able to do in just a few hours. So, um, first of all, you got your JPEG up here. What you need to do is we're going to turn this JPEG into something that we can actually work with. So I've got it open in Photoshop here. The first thing that you should always do with a site is determine the edges. Now the edges of any canvas part of your site is going to be the area where the interactive part happens. So you see this blue swirly line that kind of goes in the back. That's just for background. So don't worry about that. Come in here where you can see an actual edge. Zoom in. Use your marquee tool to find the exact spot. Drag a guide over from the edge, and that'll be one edge. Let's zoom back out, use the hand tool, double click, zoom tool, find another spot. Let's just zoom in here, you can see the edge pretty clear. Marquee tool again, drag a guide over. Alright, so now let's zoom out with the hand tool back so you can see the whole thing. If you were to make a selection now from that edge to this edge and look over in your info window, you'll see here that it's 960 pixels wide. So that is how big we're going to make our canvas when we go to start the programming. But we're not quite done here yet. Let's try and do as much with this Photoshop file as we can right now. Next, we've got our navigation bar separated by this little masthead. Let's find that distinction, zoom in, just come to the top of that little one line there and drag down. Now we could probably go and find the bottom edge pretty easily here too, and you can see if you look closely there's a little bit of a black gap between the blue edge here of the next section and the masthead itself. So we'll put two guides in there, and if you make the selection again and look in your info window, you'll see it's 5 pixels high. So when we're programming it, we can put a little margin on the bottom of 5 pixels and that'll take care of that. Scroll down again at the edge of the blue, make a line. Now we've got another little black space. We'll just keep using the marquee tool and dragging guides. Zoom down, you'll see here we're going to have our next little section, so let's come in there. This one's indented from the edge as well, so just use your marquee tool to find the edge and snap a guide into place. Now this one, we're going to have it indented on the other side as well, so I've just slid over there. Make sure it's right on the edge and snap into place. And keep scrolling down. There's the bottom edge of that little gray area. Okay, now we've got quite a few guides going on that splits up the site very nicely for us. The next thing that you're going to want to do is take these pieces and put them into their own layers. So I'm just going to hide a couple things here that we don't really need, so that we can see all of our layers. So let's just pull this canvas out a little bit so we can see it better. Let's start by extracting things from the bottom. Now usually I like to zoom out so I can see kind of around the edges of the document I'm working on. So once you're at that big, you can draw a whole guide, and let's get this into a new layer with Control Shift J. Alright, so now you see as I have my background color over here set to black, it's just going to fill that in with black. So now we can hide that layer and show it as we want. So we'll call this well, actually we probably don't need to call it anything because we're going to keep cutting it up. But let's take a piece off the top. Alright, Control Shift J. Oops, sorry. Control Shift J. Now this one is our navigation. And we'll call this navigation original. Okay, and everything we do in the navigation bar we're going to put in a folder. So you just hit the new folder icon there, give it a name, take this navigation original and drop it into there. Okay, let's get the masthead out next. So draw your marquee, make sure you've selected your original there, Control Shift J, there we go, it's out, name it. Let's make a folder for everything we're going to do with that one. And we're running out of time, I'm just going to cut this and pick it right back up. Okay, make sure that masthead layer goes into the masthead folder, and you're good on that one. You can, if you start getting too many layers going on, you just collapse these. That's kind of the purpose of having these folders here. So if you ever want to turn off one part of the site, you just use the icon here and turn it off. Now let's get the next part, which is this little blue bar here. So again, you're on your original layer, hit Control Shift J, and you've got it out. We'll call this top content maybe. And let's make a folder for that too. Alright, drag your top content into there. Close it up. Back to this part. Now we've got a big content area that has then 3 column bits of content and then a footer at the end. So this whole body of content is kind of one piece. Except we could leave the footer out. Let's do that. So let's just grab this content area. We're gonna over here again, Control Shift J. We'll call this main content. Alright, make a folder for that. Drag it into your folder, tidy it up. And we'll put the footer into its own as well. So again, let's Control Shift J. Call it footer. And make sure you label your layer. And drop it in there. Now the original cut that we made, there's really nothing left in there, so you can just delete that by using the trash icon down here. So that's gone. Alright, now sometimes what I like to do is keep the original document in place in the bottom, and what you can do is make a folder for your whole site, and I just call it site. Take all these folders and put it inside that folder, so at any time you can just turn off the site and see what's going on underneath. So actually I'm just gonna okay guys, I've grabbed in the original document. I'm just gonna show you what I would normally do here, and that is take a copy of this original and keep it on the bottom here. So at any time, if I'm messing around on the site, I can turn it off and see what was originally underneath there. Now next thing we got to do is anywhere there's text, we're going to replace that with just a plain background, or in the case of the navigation, we're going to make our own proper navigation. So we'll zoom in to our nav bar, and you can see basically this is pretty straightforward, nothing too exciting. We could actually just take this whole area that's underneath the gray line and black it out, because it's just straight black color. So make a marquee selection all the way across, and then open up your site folder here, open the navigation folder. We're going to make a new layer. We'll call this one BG for background. If you want to do an easy fill, make sure that black is your top color over here, and you can hit Alt backspace. Now you have a black bar running across there, and when you go to actually make your little navigation sprite, you just put white text over top of that. Now the masthead, there's not too much we're going to do with that just yet, so we'll leave that one alone. This next blue bar, let's get that one open. Top content, we said we were going to call it. Let's zoom in there and see what we can do. Now the first thing that you'll notice is we've got a gradient going from a dark black down to, or from a dark blue down to a light blue, so we want to replicate that. So just like before, let's make a new layer above top content. We're going to call this a BG, and it's going to be the background of the whole row. So when you're on the top content layer that we originally cut, hit Control C, go up to your new BG layer, hit Control V. Now you've pasted it in there. You can hit Control T. That'll give you your transform tool, and that'll let you just click, left click, and drag. And we'll just drag it all the way to the other side. It's a little slow when you're zoomed in this far, but in the future, just zoom out a little bit. Okay, when you're in pretty close on this, you can see it's a little bit, I don't know what the right word is, there's some bands of color you can see here, and if you want to fix that up, it's, just go up to I have to apply the transformation first. Deselect, select apply. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Okay, now this will let you kind of tidy up those bands, so you can stretch it out a bit, but you're going to have a little problem. You see, if you look down here, there's going to be a bit of bleed on the edges, and that's okay. We can fix that, no problem. So this would do without do at about a 5. So you can't tell the lines are there anymore, so hit OK. But we got to do something about that. The easy thing to do is grab your original top content layer, control click to select the entire thing. Now go up to your background and you can make a mask. So the mask will basically clip everything into that selection that you have. So just click the mask icon. See? No more problem. But we're not quite done with this one. So let's zoom out again and just see what we've done. If you can toggle this off, on and off again to see what's underneath. Alright. So very quickly we're going to take one of these. Now they're all the same size, so you only need to really work on one. You see we basically have a blue background with a light blue edge, and then an image inside there, then a gray background with some white text and a bit of text under there. So we got to split all that up. So just leave your background untouched for now, and let's make a new layer, and let's call it blue. Alright, so let's make sure we got the right color. Grab your eyedropper tool and click on the blue. And also we need to make a little bit of marquee stuff. Now let's zoom in here close, and what we'll do is we'll make a selection just outside the light blue. So just zoom over, or slide over here, and we'll make another edge there, and go down to the bottom of that little box and make another edge there. Alright, so on the blue we want to select the whole thing. So let's just hand tool out and then zoom back in so we can see the whole thing. Grab your marquee tool, select it all, and then again you can alt backspace, will fill that all with color. But we also want to put an effect on it that'll give us this blue edge. So grab the eyedropper tool and zoom in and get that blue color, and then double click over here on your layers bar. It'll bring up your layer style. Now here you're going to go down to stroke. Stroke puts an edge on anything, but we want to fix the color. Instead of the default black, you can kind of see what it's doing there. We want to choose this color. Hit OK, and we're done. Oh, just make sure that it's on the outside too. You can put them on the inside, which just be not as accurate as was what we want to do. So there we go. You can hide your FX. At any time you can hide the stroke if you want. You can hide all the effects, and you can just shorten that up so it's not taking up too much space in your layers window. Zoom out again. Now you can see we're doing pretty good, but we got to get that inside content. So let's hide the one we just did and zoom back in. And around here we're going to set some more marquee guides. So let's get one on the top, one for the edge. Let's make a marquee at the top of the gray, and we'll make one at the bottom of the gray, and we'll do this edge here. So first thing we're going to do is make a clip for the image, and a clip is basically just something that you can use as a judgment later on when you're building the site, and you can use a clip mask to make something like an image fit right inside this space. So usually I'll use white for that. If you hit X, it'll flip the X key, it'll flip your colors around on the palette quick. Let's make a new layer, and we'll call this one the clip. Alright, now hit Alt backspace. There, we're full of white. Now we got to do something about the gray layer. So let's you might as well grab that color from your eyedropper tool. Make a new layer. We're going to call this text layer, or text BG. How about? And again, we've already got it selected.